Welcome back to another episode of the Glory Reds podcast. And guys, yesterday we played our first Champions League match in a very long time. And unfortunately, we suffered a defeat to one of our nemesis, so to say, in the Champions League, Bayern Munich. We do not have a good history with Bayern Munich in the Champions League. And yesterday, we unfortunately suffered the same fate by losing to them. But guys, in all fairness, we are not the same Manchester United team that we once were. So it was definitely a mismatch in terms of the quality of the teams. So fair to say we tried our best, and unfortunately we could not get the result that we wanted to get. But anyway, this is going to be a match reaction. I'm going to give you guys a breakdown of what happened during the match, some of my thoughts, how I feel about how we played and what we can do better moving forward. And honestly, I just wish that we could have somehow pulled some sort of a result, because it's now 3 weeks straight that we're doing a match reaction and we have not managed to win any of the 3 games, starting with, of course, the Arsenal game before the international break, and then Brighton, and now Bayern Munich. So anyway, Manchester United flew to Germany, Bayern Munich, to go and play them in the Champions League. And I just want to give you guys our starting lineup with the team that we started with. First of all, the team that we traveled with was very thin. We did not have a lot of options coming off the bench in all positions. And, most of our players that could have made a difference are injured. And some of the players are just off form, or they're just dealing with, all sorts of issues. I mean, for example, in our defense, we literally only traveled with 5 defenders, and our only option off the bench was Johnny Evans. But anyway, with that being said, let me take you all guys through our starting 11. So in the goalpost, we had Andre Onana. At right back, we had Diego Dalot. Our centre back pairing of Lisandro Martinez and Victor Lindelof. And our left back was Sergio Reguilon. In our midfield, we went with our trusted 3 of Eriksen, Casemiro, and Bruno Fernandes. And up front, we started Marcus Rashford, Rasmus Højlund, and his second start for Manchester United and first start for Manchester United in the Champions League game, Pellistri. What can I say about this squad? Look, this squad is probably the strongest squad we could currently put out there with the players which are available, not counting the players that are injured. So do I think it was a decent team? Do I think it was a good team that we could have started? 100%. At this moment in time, we do not have any fit or available number 7 players, and that's of course the right wing. Obviously, we have the whole Sancho issue with Erik ten Hag. We don't know what the resolve is there at the moment. We have Anthony facing allegations back in Brazil. We have Amad Diallo, who is injured. So currently our only option is Pellistri. Now, of course, the way I'm saying it may sound a little bit negative, like, he's the only player that we have to play, so we have to play him. Not really in that sense, but I'm just trying to emphasize the fact that, we are very short of options. And, we have been waiting and wanting for Pellistri to start in a match. So yesterday he got his opportunity to play for Manchester United. And you know what, guys, to be fair, it was always going to be a difficult game for him, because we're facing Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich is no joke. They're really a good side, they're a strong side, very competitive side. So it was never going to be an easy game for him to prove his worth. So I really hope that yesterday's performance is not going to reflect so badly on his name, and he will still be given an opportunity to start for Manchester United in our next game against Burnley. So how do I think we played yesterday? Look, I really think we played better than our game against Brighton. And funny enough, that game against Brighton, we're playing home and we're absolutely abysmal. And I believe that this game against Bayern was actually we actually got off to a good start. The first couple of minutes, the first 15-20 minutes before we considered the first goal, we actually got off to a good start and we're actually playing very well. I was actually shocked because I thought from the beginning of the game, Bayern were going to run circles around us, but we somehow managed to hold our own. And then unfortunately, Bayern managed to squeeze in an early goal. If I'm not mistaken, it was Leroy Sané who opened up the goal scoring. And once again, United just fell flat from there. We had no backup plan, we had no options, we had no morale, no mental strength to pick ourselves up and carry on from there. That first goal obviously disappointed a lot of us Manchester United fans. And obviously this is a topic that we do not want to discuss, but unfortunately, because these errors keep on happening, it seems to be the topic on most of Manchester United's lips. And that's obviously the case of, if we still had David De Gea, would he have saved that goal? 100%. But I don't think we should heavily criticize Onana on that first goal. And yes, he did come out after the game and sort of put the blame on himself to say, look, I'm gonna carry this loss for the team on my shoulders, and it's because of me, obviously speaking to himself, that we lost the game. And I don't, as much as I respect him for coming out and saying that, I don't really think the game was lost because of him. I still think that regardless of him saving that goal or not, it was still going to be a difficult game for us because Bayern were really putting us under pressure, were being overrun in the midfield, and we had no appropriate response for them. So yeah, so first half, it was a good half until obviously the first two goals, you know, got scored. And in all fairness, I think probably the first goal was the only one that could have been saved. Maybe the second one as well. I think at least if he attempted to dive for it, I think he could have got something on that ball. I don't think it was a goal that was 100% unavoidable. But as for the other two goals which were scored, we can't argue it. I mean, there's obviously a penalty. Penalties are difficult to save. And then, of course, that fourth goal that came through from the Bayern Munich player, was it Tell or something like that? I don't think any keeper in the world, would have been capable of stopping that. And if they did, then, I could say it was a clear fluke. But yeah, other than that, first half, ended off bad for us, 2-0. And honestly, from that point, I never saw us coming back into the game. We didn't look threatening on the attack. I never thought that would actually go ahead and score goals. So anyway, first half ends. We jump into the second half. Second half gets off to a good start. We get an early goal by Rasmus Højlund, and we're excited. It's 2-1. We believe we're back in the game. We can actually maybe go in and pull something off. Maybe we can go and get an equalizer, get a point off this game, which is going to be great for us. But once again, Manchester United, we score a goal, and not soon later after that, we go and concede another goal, making it 3-1. Now, obviously, that third goal was a penalty. And in my opinion, that penalty decision is very debatable. I do believe if it was in the Premier League, but you know what? The way VAR decisions have been going this season, I honestly can't say. I can't say if in the Premier League if it would have counted for a penalty or not. But I think that was a bit harsh, that penalty which was given. But I do think it would have been judged differently in the Premier League. Yeah, just because of proximity, how far the player was from, the other player when he what you call this, hit the ball, and then it hit his arm. So yeah, I think it was a harsh decision, a mistake that really cost us. And yeah, at that point in time, we were 3-1 down. And then something happened again. Casemiro comes through with a goal, and the score line is now 3-2. And we're sitting there thinking, okay, wow, maybe we do have one more chance to actually get back in this game. That goal was actually scored quite late into the second half. I'm trying to see. That was in the 88th minute, right? And yeah, assist from Anthony Martial. By the way, Anthony Martial actually played very well. To be fair, yeah, Anthony Martial, I actually commend him for his performance yesterday coming off the bench. And just to let you guys know about the substitutes, before I continue. So Scott McTominay came in replacing Christian Eriksen at the 69th minute. And then we had Anthony Martial and Alejandro Garnacho replacing Rasmus Højlund and Facundo Pellistri. And that was in the 81st minute. Big ups to Anthony Martial. He looked very sharp yesterday, very ready, to play. And I was really impressed by what he was able to do in that short space of time. And we have said this before that, Anthony Martial, when he's fit, is arguably United's best player. And I can still hold that statement strong today. When Martial is fit and on form, he's a problem. He's difficult to mark, he's difficult to stop. And, we mentioned in a previous VN to say Martial is very crucial when it comes to winning free kicks in what you call this, in good areas of the final third, in and around the box. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. He won us a free kick, which, if I'm not mistaken, the free kick that he won is the one that Bruno took and allowed us to get our third goal in extra time. So big up to Martial. I hope that he's gonna continue to stay fit this season and continue to keep up with the same, pace and the same. Why am I losing my words? Just keep up with these fitness and continue playing with good form. Because it's gonna be very useful for us throughout the season. And yeah, I just hope he stays fit because this season was suffering a lot from bad injuries, and we do not need any more players at this point in time to continue getting injured. But anyway, so back to the game. So yeah, so Casemiro manages to get our second goal. It's 3-2. Happy days. We're trying, we're fighting. At least something is happening. And then yeah, they go score the fourth goal, and then like I said, the last goal was scored, of course, in extra time. Almost to the last minute actually, because after that goal was scored, I think there was like a VAR check or something, and then afterwards the whistle was blown, concluding the game 4-3. Now, of course, the score does not tell the whole story. United still displayed a lot of the problems that we have been having this season and sort of last season, of just no identity in this team, no chemistry, um, the mental strength when we go down, and just not having that ability to pick ourselves up, not showing that grit and determination that we actually want to win games against our opponents. Last season we actually started very bad, but then we started picking up, in terms of confidence, morale, chemistry, all those things that we're talking about that we want to see the players do. Even in terms of possession, there was actually a point where United were actually keeping very good possession against the opponents, and we went on a very long unbeaten run. I don't know what happened. Obviously, we had injuries along the way, but something drastically happened and changed, and United just stopped playing the way Ten Hag wants us to play. Because last season we did display some moments where we're actually playing like how the manager intends for us to play, and we sort of lost that along the way. And now it just sort of became worse and worse, declining last season towards the end of the season, and we've sort of carried that into the new season, which has not played very well in our favor. So a lot of problems in that team that need to be fixed. Injuries do not help us at this present time. Of course, we're playing Burnley our next match, and I just really hope that we can we can go and get a result, because now it's 3 games back to back that we have lost and haven't managed to what you call this, to win. And in all fairness, yes, we did win 4-3, but when you actually think about it, I think the only clear-cut goal which we can hold our heads high is that last goal with Bruno's cross and Casemiro's header. Otherwise, Casemiro's goal, and look, I'm not trying to take anything away from what they did, all right? A goal is a goal, but it wasn't like a convincing goal. It was I don't call it sloppy, but it was luck. The Casemiro goal was a sprinkle of luck, because he slips on the ball, he falls down, and then manages to just shove it and kick it in. Catching the keeper off guard. Same thing I can say about Rasmus Højlund's goal. Again, I'm not trying to take anything away from the player, but he didn't hit it as clean as he wanted to hit it. And it just happened to roll past the goalkeeper, and that's how we got our first goal. So I think we really need to start scoring more convincingly. We need to be getting into these games and going and attacking these teams and putting them under pressure. Not only that, but we need to start learning how to keep ball possession better, right? We need to start showing more determination in terms of winning back the ball as well, because we're not tracking back. A lot of these players are not showing that determination of winning these balls, and our passes have just become very sloppy. A lot of the times during the match, we're making very careless passes and losing possession for no reason. And that's something that we've been doing a lot this season. It's just sloppy passing and not keeping possession adequately, right? A lot of instances where we did not know what to do and we just kicked the ball forward, hoping someone would, find it or be at the end of that pass. And a lot of the time, that wasn't the case, and the opposition managed to get possession back and come back at us. So it doesn't help, even when we're playing counter-attacking football, there still has to be some sort of structure building the play out from the back and kicking the ball forward, rather than just not even putting your head up to see who you're passing to and just kicking the ball forward and just hoping for the best. That strategy doesn't work. It hasn't worked, and it's honestly not gonna play in our favor moving forward. So we need to start tightening things up. We need to start getting the basics right before we can start thinking about playing all this flair football and backheel passes and flickering over players and whatever. I just think we just need to go back to the basics, right? We need to just fix up everything, string along 10 passes, have some sort of move, on how we're going to be attacking. Yesterday I was watching the match and I was laughing because Bayern Munich kept coming at us with the same move. And this is something that I used to speak about a lot with Ben in the past, to say a lot of teams have a strategy of when they're going forward, they know exactly what to do to break down the defense, or they know exactly what to do in terms of their formation and their positioning when they're attacking players and going for goal. And once they've figured that thing out in their training or whatever, that's something that you'll see them implementing throughout the whole game, and they'll keep trying it, and you see them, one or two or three times it works and they get the goals. Brighton did that. They had the same style of attack play when they came and beat us. They were following the same routine. Same thing with Bayern, coming down the left flank. They were just doing the same play repetitively and beating our defenders, and we were clueless and oblivious to what was going on, which was giving them a lot of chances to take shots at the goal. I think also with the defense, we need to tighten up. Delo, Regulon, very good players going up front, but when it comes to defensive duties, it's absolutely ridiculous. I think Luke Shaw, not even think, Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka do a way better job, not allowing these players to run past them, not allowing them to get into the box, not allowing them to put crosses into the box. All of that is being shut down before they can even think about making that play. Or they put them heavily under pressure where the opposition have to play a ball back, or through the middle or whatever, but basically diverting their plans. And with Delo and Sergio Regulon, yeah, they're just allowing players, to just break into our box and set up opportunities for their players to score. And that's something that we need to shut down. That's something that Ten Hag needs to identify, to say, look, I trust you guys going forward, but at the end of the day, you guys are defenders and you need to do your job. You need to make sure that you are shutting down these players and not giving them the opportunities to go out there and get good scoring chances. So, but yeah, guys, I don't want to make it too long. I think that's a basic recap of what happened yesterday during our first match. and it's all well and good. I'm actually happy that we started off playing Bayern, so we can sort of it's a good tester. You know what I mean? It's always good to get back into the competition and get tested to sort of like see where you're at. Are you strong enough to compete with the best? And in all fairness, it's a good thing that we also got 3 goals, 3 away goals. I know it does not really count for anything, but hey man, we at least we cut down that deficit. Think of it as a 1-0 game, so it's not really gonna affect us so much in terms of goal difference. But we just need to make sure that our next opponents we go and get 3 points, because the other teams in the group are beatable. We can go and get 3 points off them, so we just need to make sure we go and do the job, so that when we come back and play against Bayern Munich again, we can play for a draw and at least finish in the top 2 spaces and, advance outside of the group stages. But yeah, thanks again for listening to this podcast episode. And yeah, we're going to be releasing, I think, a match preview for the Burnley game on Thursday. So yeah, but don't forget, guys, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can go to our website, that is gloryredsfc.co.uk. You can go to our community page where you can join our WhatsApp group. You can also follow our social media pages, and you can join our football fantasy league. So be sure to do that. And thanks once again for listening to this podcast episode. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.